We are live. Black and White Sports. He is John Matrix. I am Roach Rants. And we are looking at the NFL wild card playoffs starting today. Good morning, John Matrix.
Good morning. This is one of the best weekends of the year. I love wild card weekend.
This is one of my two favorite football weekends of the year. Next week being the other one.
Yep. And then the week after that, and then the Super Bowl.
I love that we got games on Saturday and Sunday.
Yes. Yes.
That's what I like about it. And knowing that because it's the playoffs, it's pretty good competition and everything. Let me see. I should be able to do a screen share, hopefully. Bam. Okay.
Yep.
Week 17, we both went 10-6 after starting out really rough last week. We were both 0-3 out of the gate. And then we made massive comebacks in the last half of the schedule last week to finish 10-6. Because for a while, it looked like we were going to be rolling a possible losing record for last week, but we came back and we pulled it out. You finished 154-101. I finished 163-91-1. Good morning, Eric Breen.
That's a pretty good win percentage for you.
Well, we both did well, and I wanted to see how that stacked up against the ESPN folks. You beat Louis Riddick, Eric Reed. You tied with Dan Graziano. And that's it. And what did I finish? 163-91-1. So I beat the Pick'em. I beat Louis Riddick, Eric Reed, Mike Golick, Dan Graziano. Who is this Clay guy? Some miscellaneous Clay guy. And I beat... No, I didn't. Trey Wingo beat me by 2 games. So that's where we finished off. We was right there among the people that actually get paid to do this.
Yeah, always nice when you can beat a couple of those people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we wasn't even close to being like embarrassed or anything. We're right there in the middle of them. So that worked out great. So on the schedule for this week, we have the Bills at Texans, Titans at Patriots, Vikings at Saints, and Seahawks at Eagles. John Matrix, Bills at Texans. What say you?
Bills at Texans. That's my radio voice? Did it work?
Yeah.
This is going to be a pretty good matchup, I think. The only thing is the Texans, they get J.J. Watt back today. I guess that's going to be a plus right there.
Yep.
Their offense is light years better than the Bills. Bills still good on defense, but New England shredded them pretty bad. We know how New England's offense is. So I'm going to go with the Texans in a pretty tight game. I'm going to say Texans win 24. Let's go 24-17.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you trust more in the playoffs, Bill O'Brien or Sean McDermott? You think? Because I actually like the Bills coach better than Bill O'Brien, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, but it's going to come down to that Bills offense. It's not good. So, I don't know. It's pretty close to me.
Bills would probably get the edge on defense. They've had a good defense all year.
They will. Texans by far on offense.
On offense. It's kind of a push at the running game, although Carlos Hyde had a huge year for the Texans. Did you see that?
What was his rushing yards?
I think he was over 1,000 for the first
Okay.
time in his career. You know,
All right, cool.
the Niners totally gave up on him. I'm going to go Texans here too. Being at home, Deshaun Watson. I feel like he sort of, if the defense boxes him in or whatever, he can sort of get out of the pocket. He can move the chains with his legs. He's a much superior quarterback to Josh Allen at this point.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm going to go Texans 24, Bills 21.
Okay.
To me, the most intriguing game of the weekend is Titans at Patriots.
Titans at Patriots. Okay. So Ryan Tannehill. I guess he would be kind of the X factor in this game because we know Brady, Belichick, we know what they can do in the playoffs and everything, even though the offense is quite different. Do you trust Ryan Tannehill is the question. Can he kind of get through that Patriots defense that's kind of slipped a bit lately? I mean, the points allowed per game is still relatively good, but do you trust him? I know Skip and Shannon both picked the Titans in this game. And the line is actually, let's see, Patriots by 5, which I think is pretty good right there. I'm going Patriots in this game. I know the Titans can give them some problems, but I'm not going to pick against the Patriots at home coming off a loss to the Dolphins. I got to see it to believe it. I'm going to go
loss of the year by anybody, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to go New England 24, the Titans 18.
Okay. We got a Super Bowl winning coach, multiple Super Bowl winning coach, multiple Super Bowl winning quarterback. A lot of interesting storylines that could happen after the game.
Yep.
We're going in wondering, well, this could very well be Tom Brady's last game at home ever.
Yeah, because they'll be going on the road next week if they win.
Right. Tannehill has had a remarkable season. 70% completion, 22 TDs, 6 picks. And Derrick Henry is playing in this game. He is a literal beast. He had 1,550 yards for the season. And won the rushing title. Mike Vrabel knows the Patriots inside and out. But at the end of the day, there's no way in hell I'm picking against Tom Brady, Belichick at home. Even though they just gave me the middle finger last weekend in a game they absolutely had to have.
They should have won easily.
Alfred Morganroth, by the way, in the comment section of the predictions or somewhere, come back while that game was going on and said, Rhodes, you called it. The Dolphins got a pick 6 on Brady. And I had said that on my prediction last week. I was like, man, the Dolphins will get a pick 6 on Brady.
Yeah.
And they did.
That pick 6 looked like it was some kind of confusion going on between the receivers, too. Because it was just, it looks like one of the receivers didn't cut right or something because it was just a straight up, it looked like a straight up throw to Miami for some reason.
It's one of the problems Tom has right now is he doesn't trust them receivers, and I don't blame him because they're not even running the right routes, you know, a lot of the times, and that drives him nuts.
Yeah.
Chad Johnson couldn't even stay on the Patriots because he couldn't learn the route tree. Patriots 24, Titans 23.
Ooh.
But if the Titans win this game, I actually won't be floored.
Won't be surprised. Yeah.
No. And a prediction. Is this Tom Brady's last Patriots game, John Matrix?
In a Patriots uniform?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know yet. I mean, Bob Kraft loves him some Tom Brady. And I think he knows what's kind of going on. I know Belichick has all the power, but he didn't have the power when it came to wanting to trade Tom Brady. Was it last season? Season 4 last?
Yep.
That wasn't
Jimmy
going to
G
happen.
was shipped out the door.
Yep. So when
Look
it
how
comes to
good the
Tom Brady,
Patriots would look if they still had Jimmy G sitting on the bench right now.
yeah, when it comes to Brady, I think that's Bob Kraft's call, not Belichick's call.
I agree.
So I'm going to say no. I think he'll be back next season. I mean, if he had legitimate weapons to work with and he played like this, that'd be a different story. But overall, I mean, he was still 24 touchdowns, 8 picks. That's not bad considering he had nobody to throw to. 61% completion.
I'm going to say he comes back too. I think you're right. I think Robert Kraft is going to be the one that's going to make that call ultimately. Now, whether or not, here's the thing. Tom becomes an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah, he's going with no contract.
So he could leave.
Yeah.
And
he may want to leave.
He may want to leave. That's right.
And they can't franchise tag him either.
No, because I've heard he is going to want maximum money. He's not going to accept a low budget deal again.
Yeah.
Because of what's happened this year. Belichick didn't surround him with any offensive talent, which means he took a pay cut. For what reason exactly?
Yeah. And if he wants Matt's money, I can see somebody giving him 30, 35 million for one season. That's not going to hurt you, long term, just for one season, somebody paying him 30 million. I see that because he's only getting 23 million now.
I think you're going to end up seeing some kind of a 1-year contract with somebody with an option year added on.
Team option.
Yeah, team option. Yeah. Vikings at Saints.
Now, this is going to be a juicy game, I think.
First Cousins. Be a good game.
Yeah. First Cousins in the Superdome. The Superdome may be the X factor in this game. Because I think if this was in Minnesota, I think Minnesota will win this game. But the Superdome is the X factor to me. It's going to be impossible for Kirk Cousins to hear the signals. They're going to have to go to silent counts and everything. But I think it's going to be relatively close because the Vikings defense is legit. But I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm going to go 26-21.
So you say the Vikings keep the Saints offense in relative check for them anyway.
Yeah.
I noticed the Vikings are getting their star linebacker back, Everson Griffin. He's a really good one of the best ones in the league. It doesn't matter. I don't trust Kirk Cousins in this kind of position at all. He's got to win a game like this badly.
This is a tough game for anyone to win in New Orleans.
Yeah, I was listening to John Middlecoff's podcast. He said there are still Kirk Cousins to Niners rumors. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
As a backup?
No.
To take over for Jimmy G?
No. There's scenarios out there, he said, that where the Niners could theoretically, if Jimmy G stinks it up in the playoffs, there are still rumors they could let him go or even seek an outright trade straight up for Kirk Cousins.
I don't see that happening.
Because Kyle Shanahan is still in love with Kirk Cousins because his daddy was in love with Kirk Cousins.
Oh, God.
If the Niners do that, I will stick this microphone directly up my own ass.
That's a bad move.
Yeah. I will be furious. I think Jimmy G's had a hell of a season, and he's played lights out the last 8 games in big games against
Yeah.
tough opponents. He's went out there and played great. Games that I don't think Kirk Cousins would have had the Niners even remotely competitive in.
Yeah.
I think this is Brady's last home game, but I agree with everything you both just said. Alfred, welcome in. Saints
Welcome.
30, Vikings 20.
Okay.
You're not beating Breeze and Peyton in New Orleans, I don't think. I don't think. Seahawks at the Fighting Carson Wentz's.
Oh, man. Seahawks at Eagles. Oh, man. The Eagles have no business in the playoffs. They don't. They're still a mash unit. Seattle, finally, the 49ers beat them. Oh, man. And the Eagles defense has really kind of played better as of late. They let the Giants hang around for a bit, and we both picked the Giants to beat them last week. I just don't see the Eagles have no business being in the playoffs. Seattle is a legitimate playoff team to me. I'm going with the Seahawks in this game in the upset. I could be wrong. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. Carson Wentz, he still hasn't won a playoff game yet. Actually, I think this is his first playoff appearance, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
His debut. Well, I guess he's going to have to learn.
It should be noted. He's playing lights out right now, too.
Yeah, he is. I mean, even though the competition hadn't been that great he's played against, but I'm going to go Seattle in this game. I'm going to go Seattle 27, Eagles 24.
I picked the Eagles to win the division, and I'll be damned if they didn't actually do it somehow.
Yeah, by a miracle.
And I thought that looked like a terrible pick 4 weeks ago. I was like, this is turning into a nightmare.
Can thank Jason Garrett for that.
Yeah. It's partially on the Cowboys, too. The Eagles are still a mash unit. If they could somehow win this game, I hear they're getting Deshaun Jackson back next week. If they make it to the divisional round, he'll be back, which would give them a deep threat that they sure don't have right now. I'm doing it. Eagles 23, Seahawks 20.
Okay.
At home in Philly. Crazy crowd. The Eagles do have a solid defense, particularly their defensive line. And the Seahawks are running out there Marshawn Lynch and Robert Turbin against that defensive line. Good luck. It comes down to Brady versus Wentz. Wilson versus Wentz. And I guess I could pick Wilson, but I'm not going to. If this was in Seattle, it'd be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And my other thing is I'm also rooting for the Eagles because I do not want to see the Seahawks again.
That could be bad for the Niners.
I do not. I'm like, okay, we pulled one out. We got one. We don't need to see them again. I don't care if it is in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys, John Matrix. Who is their next head coach, you think?
Who knows what goes through Jerry Jones' mind? I really couldn't tell you. I mean, there's rumors out there. I mean, they're talking about Lincoln Riley. Skip Bayless said he is not a fan of Lincoln Riley. He would rather have Jason Garrett back than him. What names are out there? We're talking about
Urban Meyer, Matt Rule out of Baylor.
Yeah,
who may end up getting the Cleveland the Giants job. He wants the Giants job.
Urban Meyer. The only thing I'm worried about is his health. I'm good for one season, yeah. But the second season, he may start getting unhealthy and everything. So I don't know. I like what Shannon Sharp said, though. He said, get on the phone, call the Saints, offer the Saints 3 first-round picks for Sean Payton. And you know Sean Payton, man, he lives in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He worked under Parcells. I probably would try to make that call first. If that doesn't work, I would say then you try Urban Meyer.
Well, this is the interesting thing about Urban. I've heard that there's nothing actually wrong with his health. I've heard that he left Florida and he left Ohio State because both programs were potentially facing sanctions.
Sanctions, yeah.
And supposedly, Ohio State actually, believe it or not, asked Urban to leave.
Yeah.
Because of the whole, he had the coach on the staff that they found out was beating his wife, and Urban stepped in and really didn't do shit about it. And Ohio State was like, this looks terrible, Urban.
True. Yeah.
I think if you can get Urban, good God, take Urban. You know,
and he said that the Cowboys is his dream job.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we think I've got a theory Jerry already knows who he's hiring?
Think so.
I think that's why the Jason Garrett thing is taking so long. Yeah, I know Garrett's part of the family and blah, blah, blah. And there's even a Garrett running the scouting department. But look, all these coaching candidates are already getting interviews, and they're lining interviews up. I heard today that Josh McDaniels may be the guy in Cleveland for the Browns. I think Jerry knows they're hiring Urban already.
That's why he didn't really make a rush to let Garrett go. And technically, Jason Garrett isn't fired because his contract was running out anyway. They just didn't renew his contract.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, otherwise, unless Jerry's under the assumption that everybody that has options is going to automatically pick the Cowboys first. But I don't know that that's the case because of Jerry.
Yeah.
You know? Now, Peter King came out yesterday on Colin Cowherd's show and said, look, there is a total misconception around Jerry Jones when it comes to coaches. Jerry's very easy to deal with.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
People think he is not. He is absolutely easy to deal with as a coach. He provides a coach with every possible advantage that a coach wants or could need as a coach. Whatever the coach wants, essentially the coach gets. Also, Peter said that after being in the draft room with them the last couple of years, he said Jerry's not the one calling the draft. He said that's not Jerry. And he said, and Jerry is made pushes to draft players. And he said, I've been in the room when they've told Jerry, no, we're not drafting that guy.
Yeah, like he wanted to draft Manziel.
He wanted Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, Stephen Jones stepped in and said, no, we're not drafting that guy.
Yeah, Peter said that he wanted Paxton Lynch so bad, and he wanted to trade up to get him. And of course, the Broncos took him, and he's out of the league now. But he was so angry, he walked out of the draft room and slammed the door because the Broncos drafted Lynch.
Yeah.
And that was because Steven said, no, he's not worth it. He's not worth it in that spot, and we don't think he's going to develop. So I don't know. It depends on what you believe, but Peter King, I mean, he's as locked in as any reporter in the country for sure.
Yeah. For one thing, Jerry should let go of Jason Garrett at the end of the last season because players kind of respond differently to a coach that's a lame duck coach that doesn't have a contract. That means that the owner has zero confidence in you.
I agree with that.
And it's that I've been listening to former players say that's not the way to go. He should have been let go at the end of last season.
I actually think they have underachieved for about 3 years now.
Oh yeah, easily.
You know, I thought him getting let go last year was just sort of a given. And maybe Jerry didn't want to pay him for doing nothing. But in some weird sort of way, if you're wanting to hook Jason up, let him go and pay him to set a year, or pay him while he goes somewhere else and earns a deal, you know?
Yeah.
So my understanding, Pro Football Talk said Jason Garrett has zero interest on the coaching market.
He'll probably want to sit out a year, and then he'll get an opportunity the following season.
Yeah, yeah. Well, supposedly right now, the Browns, the Giants, who else is looking for a coach right now? That's it, isn't it? Browns, Giants, Cowboys.
Yeah. I think the Giants didn't do Pat Sherman any favors, man. You know, first of all, Eli Manning should have never. Eli Manning, I think, is the reason why the last two coaches are gone. I think.
I agree. I think they handcuffed the coaches to Eli Manning, which I wasn't a big fan of McAdoo up there. But
but when he benched Eli Manning, that was the right move.
Yeah.
And then he got crushed. And he was fired.
And he absolutely made the right decision. The fans went nuts, which is ridiculous, you know.
Yeah.
Good God. I know he won you 2 Super Bowls, but if you can't realize
he ain't been that good at all in years.
I contend he got a minimum of 3 years longer than he should have as the starting quarterback.
Probably like 5 years.
Probably like 5 years. Yeah. Any final words, John Matrix?
No, that's pretty much it. Enjoy the football games. Wildcard weekend is going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's pretty much it.
I agree. Everybody be safe. If you have some brews and you're out and about, make sure you have a safe way home. Peace. We're out. Enjoy the football.